What is going on? Come on, crew. Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing good. I'm always awesome because we're dissecting more fantasy football content, talking in or out on Christian McCaffrey, CMC. Biggest, topic of discussion when I talk about elite level talented players, why they're dropping down the board. We obviously know the reason, due in part to his injury, but are you in or are you out? And based on the value trends, there's reasons for both, why you should be in and why you should be potentially out or letting him fall down the board, hoping to garner greater value on return on investment on a Christian McCaffrey. There is no question. Before we get started, draft guide, baby. It is coming at the end of this month. I'm telling y'all, this thing is a monster, and you guys got to get in the know. I got you covered for all these players, who I'm going for, who I'm coveting, who I'm not. Tons of stuff in this guide. Definitely will be on sale at the end of the month, and I will let y'all know when it does drop live in the comments. We will have giveaways as well, so get ready for all of that. But let's dive into CMC. Little history lesson on this man. I mean, most of y'all that follow football already know the vast history of a CMC, but let's just go over it for argument's sake. 2018, year two. We're skipping over the rookie season. He had his first 1,000-yard campaign, 107 receptions for 867 yards. Absolutely broke out in year two. Everybody knew what he was going to be, and he definitely proved that in year two, where year three had his first true-on breakout season, 1,387 yards, 15 touchdowns, added a monster 116 receptions for 1,000 yards, over 2,000 total yards, 2,300 yards. He was an absolute monster in year three in Carolina. We know this. 2020 followed up with injury because of all the workload that he did sustain in that 2019 season. 2021 likewise did not recover from that injury and still was a big problem. Everybody was starting to get a little skeptical on a CMC. Could he stay healthy? Was he a true Band-Aid? Could he handle the full-on workload that, the Carolina Panthers were providing him? That was the question. Ended up getting traded to the San Francisco 49ers in 2022 as the Carolina Panthers look to revamp the entire offense, the entire roster, change the culture somewhat, and they're still actually moving in that regard as well. But, I mean, the tally's over 1,000 rushing yards and 700 receiving yards in that 2022 season, mixing with those Carolina Panthers and the 49ers. He was an absolute stellar product, for us in fantasy football when he did get traded into that Kyle Shanahan system in 2022, so we cannot complain what he was able to do. So it does buck the trend on, how his injury seasons did go, because he followed it up in 2023 with a career season with these 49ers, racking up 1,459 yards, 14 rushing TDs, 67 receptions for 564 yards, and 7 receiving touchdowns. Absolute baller. So when I tried to find, does he play, poorly? Does he get injured after having multiple seasons or one season of injury? Not really necessarily the case whatsoever. He had 2 injury-plagued seasons in 20 and 21, but bounced back in 22, 23, and then he found himself injured with that Achilles issue this past season. So there is something of a trend when it comes to heavy volume and heavy workload that CMC does sustain, and then he does find his way into that medical room, which is not a good situation, especially when we were trying to pick him number 1 overall last year in fantasy football. Was not a good situation, man. He should bounce back based on the medical history. Outside of, like I said, 2020, 2021, back-to-back injury seasons, he's bounced back every single year that he has had significant injury and significant time lost into that medical room. So, I mean, the history on CMC, trying to find some trends to say, otherwise to keep us on the bandwagon, but I understand a lot of people are lukewarm on CMC as he is aging, as they are getting tired of him finding his way into that medical room and not being that consistent threat that we require. In terms of depth chart purposes, we know the 49ers have seen some changeover on their roster, both on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, starting with who they have today. Brock Purdy. Okay, he is the quarterback, got his bag of tricks, got his money, and he is ready to go in the Kyle Shanahan system. We know Shanny knows how to utilize certain players in the system as long as they follow it, and Brock Purdy is the staple of a game manager, which is not a bad term whatsoever. He understands what to do in this Kyle Shanahan system. Brandon Ayuk still dealing with that ACL injury. We will we'll see when he does come back. We understand, guys coming off the ACL typically require at least, 4 to 6 games to get their football legs back up under them. So we'll see where Brandon Ayuk does go in drafts. But I do believe that, the second half of the season, barring any setbacks on his health, Ayuk should be absolutely stellar. Ricky Pearsall taking over from Debo, who is a key loss. Debo went to those Washington Commanders, the Commies, this offseason via trade as well. So, Ricky Pearsall now should be the guy taking over the role for a Debo Samuel as well. Juwan Jennings, he had a very good campaign last year, and I was all in. It was a late bloomer for Jennings as he, first, 3-4 years in the NFL, didn't necessarily turn paramount statistics our way, but he just filled in admirably last year and was absolutely stellar. So until Brandon Ayuk is fully recovered, we should see a bigger role for a Juwan Jennings. And even when Ayuk does come back, we could see a good three-headed monster with George Kittle, the people's tight end. He is, flirting with being tight end one numbers last year in fantasy football. He is still one of the creams of the crop. Injuries do take away top-end stats. Even though he puts up top-end stats, it takes away the top-end number one stats from George Kittle. So health is definitely on the not on the side of him all the time. We should expect him to miss at least a handful of contests each and every season as he does age. Like I said, key losses, Debo gone. Jordan Mason went to those Vikings. Elijah Mitchell went to the Kansas City Chiefs. So offensively speaking, we're not really concerned overall. Debo leaving, fine. It does leave a wrinkle, but you got admirable weapons to fill the void in a Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings, and you do got a lot of guys that are, vying for the opportunity on this offense in the depth for wide receiver spots. So there is a lot of talent in the cupboards, so to speak, for a Kyle Shanahan. So I'm not overly worried with the loss of Debo, even though it will, because Debo spent a lot of time in the medical room as well. So, we have seen them try to mix and match, but at least with him out, they don't have to, force him on the field with the game plan and schematic systems. When it comes to Mason and Elijah Mitchell, they got running backs for days, and you guys know this. Kyle Shanahan can basically find anybody to do what he needs to do in this backfield. Losing Hargrave, Collins, Floyd, Hufanga, Greenlaw, Tre'Davious Ward, lots of losses on the defensive side, so this offense is totally going to have to, step it up where the defense will fail them. Should they be a worse off defense this year? Possibly speaking, because of all the losses that they did sustain this past off season. But this offense definitely is going to have to pick up where the defense will let down. But as far as the depth chart right now, it's a very similar cast of characters that we did see a season prior. Christian McCaffrey, talking fantasy-wise at this point, 2025 ADP is the great discussion. He has fallen all the way to running back number 7, 15 overall. We haven't seen this for Christian McCaffrey in many years, even coming off those injuries back in 2020 and 21. It is very interesting. That shows that a lot of people are nervous and terrified of this Achilles injury, and you'd almost, you hear NFL players talk, they'd rather have an ACL injury over an Achilles because it is that difficult to come back from. Losing a step in their speed and burst absolutely is possible for a Christian McCaffrey. So ADP-wise, people are hedge betting to at least, discuss the fear that this injury could linger into 2025, and I'm with y'all. It is a risk, no question. Last year, statistically, he only played in 4 games, finished as the running back, 72, 40 points. It was a lost season, and we know this. Everybody who picked CMC first overall likely did not make the fantasy playoffs because the team around him wasn't necessarily good on your fantasy roster, and we had to hold CMC, basically hoping that he would return to action to fold, and it just did not materialize. But he is 2 seasons removed from being the running back one, like I mentioned, man. 1,459 yards, 67 receptions. He's got 21 total TDs, 378 total fantasy points for Christian McCaffrey going back to 2023. So we still know it's not a far cry from what he used to be. It's just the injury that is, hurting everybody's thought process to suggest CMC cannot return back to fold. He has suggested he is in the right frame of mind, state of mind, and the injury has been, recovered in his mind. 49ers brass is suggesting the same, that Christian does look good on the field. Christian McCaffrey does say that he is healthy and ready to go. So, for me, I'm going to take the word out of his mouth to say that he is. Could it be, posturing to say, don't worry, but I'm still dealing with it? Perhaps. But, with his talent level, if he truly is healthy, running back 7 is going to be an absolute freaking steal for a CMC, where you got the running back rankings as we sit today on consensus. Derrick Henry, running back 4. Ashton Jeanty, number 5. Y'all be crazy, man, to be pumping up Ashton Jeanty to number 5 already. He has not played a down in the NFL, and I understand he's a supreme talent. Everybody's excited. Y'all gonna be disappointed with the ROI on a Jeanty. I'm not kidding. I will pick other elite talented, proven talented running backs over Ashton Jeanty in redraft leagues this year because running back 5, that's way too bloody high for me. Devin off the A-chain, HN at number 6, McCaffrey slotted in at 7, Jonathan Taylor, JT at running back 8, Josh Jacobs at 9, and Bucky Irving at number 10 on consensus ADP. So, I mean, you're sitting here talking about who would you pick? I mean, at the top dogs, it's Barkley, Bijan, Gibby, 1, 2, 3, then it goes Derrick Henry, Jeanty, Achane. So, I mean, out of all of these guys, you're telling me, okay, Gibby, Bijan, and Barkley, absolutely, I would take over a CMC. Jeanty, I'll take CMC over it just in case. I mean, we'll see what happens. Devin off the A-chain, HN, I mean, he finds his way into the medical room as well, even though he's super productive. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, I can make arguments to say picking them over Christian McCaffrey. Also, Bucky Irving does slot into that situation where if CMC is healthy, he could absolutely destroy the ROI and make everybody look foolish. Right now, he is falling into that second round of being overall 15. So even if you grabbed back-to-back running backs, which is something I love to do in my fantasy drafts, you can make Christian McCaffrey your RB2 on your roster. Sign me up all freaking day long. It's worth taking the risk on a Christian McCaffrey at that point when we do discuss overall number 15. If he falls even lower than that, sign me up all day long. I do not want to utilize CMC as my running back 1 this year. No question. That's where I'm going to say, you got to hedge bet massively if you pick wide receivers or quarterbacks early in that first, if you are playing Superflex especially. But I'm telling y'all at this point, this is non-Superflex half PPR rankings. But if you are picking a CMC as your top running back, yes, you're going to have to hedge bet massively and get a lot of depth just in case he does go down with injury. But if I get an elite level running back first and I get CMC as my running back 2, I'm all in. I absolutely love the potential upside, even with the risk of being there, where I still will hedge bet, but at least if CMC does get back to 300-point tallies, that's a league winner for me at my running back 2. When we're talking about the depth chart on this running back room right now, CMC, Isaac Guerrero, he did showcase the fact that he's got super speed and can carry the rock as well. Will be a great change of pace to supplant some touches and keep a CMC healthy. Jordan James, rookie from Oregon, he is one of my dudes. Absolutely love me some Jordan James, and we know Kyle Shanahan's going to exploit this guy. So we could see at some point a triple-headed monster. We have seen the injuries take place with these 49ers all over the roster, so the more running backs that Kyle Shanahan has, the better for his offense. Patrick Taylor and Israel Abanikanda. I do still like Abanikanda a lot. I think there is some skills that could work there, and landing with Kyle Shanahan, he could turn him into something as well. Statistically speaking, year over year, 2023 to 2024, team rushing stats, we do see a little bit of a drop-off without a CMC, but it's nothing crazy, man. 42 attempts on the negative, 226 rushing yards, but a massive 10 TDs without a Christian McCaffrey on the field. A loss of about 82.6 fantasy points on the differential. It is a big loss. This is exactly what CMC does provide for this offense, does provide for our fantasy teams when he is on the field. So 82 points, definitely nothing to sneeze at. Even if you haircut this and cut it down to 60 or even 50, giving that back to Christian McCaffrey, we're talking about 280, 290 potential points for your running back 2. That is absolutely gorgeous for me. I absolutely love the potential for a Christian McCaffrey. So all said and purposes done here, I'm all in on a bounce back campaign for a Christian McCaffrey, but I will caveat that with I will not reach on the man. If he continues to fall down this board, the value is just far too good to return on investment to pass up, and I will still hedge bet by getting a few more running backs just in case he does go down once again with an injury. Why I'm saying you do not want him as your running back 1, because if he does go back to the medical room, you're going to have the similar situations that you did have last year when you did try to scrap and claw your way back with secondary running back options. So for me, running back 2 is the safe spot to be all in on a Christian McCaffrey. Outside of that, I'm going to buck the trend and go look elsewhere. But there you have it. That is in or out on CMC. Where you guys side? You in, you out? You understand where I'm going with this one? Throw it in the comments. Tell me what y'all think. But we'll get out of here anyway. Let you guys enjoy your Sunday. Nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments like I'm saying, and we'll see you next time. I am out.